Hey everyone, how's it going? Chase Ultimate Reward Points have often been called one of the most powerful credit card reward points. But then, Chase revamped the Sapphire Reserve, and things have changed a little bit. The power that Ultimate Reward Points once had came directly from the cards themselves, that being the Sapphire Reserve and the Sapphire Preferred. But that has all changed. It used to be an easy decision whether to get the Sapphire Preferred, the mid-tier travel credit card, or the beefed-up Sapphire Reserve. However, the divide between these two cards has become even greater, and I think they both have lost one of the best benefits they had. So today, let's take a look at the differences and similarities between the Sapphire Reserve and the Sapphire Preferred. We'll talk about which one is a better option for you, and we'll ask the question whether or not you should get either of the Sapphire cards. Drop a comment down below if you have either of these cards and tell me why you like it, and hit the subscribe button while you're there. Now, the Sapphire Preferred and the Sapphire Reserve have been around for a while. Not as long as their American Express counterparts, but long enough to have a few iterations. That being said, Chase really threw in the kitchen sink and pulled out all of the stops with this latest refresh. We're talking a ton of new credits, a couple of new benefits, removal of the best benefit? In some of Chase's efforts to modernize these cards, I think they lost some of the original appeal that they once had. At least they did for me. One of the things that appealed to me about the Sapphire Reserve was the annual fee, which was only $550. But now we are going to have to pay $795 for the Sapphire Reserve. On the other hand, the Sapphire Preferred still has its low $95 annual fee. Now, the reason for these dramatic differences between these annual fees is because the Sapphire Reserve falls into the premium travel credit card category and offers benefits like lounge access, annual credits, and more. Whereas the Sapphire Preferred falls into the mid-tier card category. That's not only reflected in the annual fee cost, but also the benefits that are offered on these cards. Now, because of the refresh, the welcome offers on these cards are a little bit elevated. On the Sapphire Reserve, we are going to receive 125,000 Chase Ultimate Reward Points after spending $6,000 on the card in the first 3 months of card ownership. And on the Sapphire Preferred, we're going to receive 75,000 Ultimate Reward Points after spending $5,000 in the first 3 months of card ownership. Before the refresh, these offers were around 60,000 Chase Ultimate Reward Points. I do think they will go back down some point in the future, but currently there is no end date for these offers. Now, one of the areas that is pretty good on both cards is the points earning abilities. Both of the cards will earn Chase Ultimate Reward Points every time you spend with the cards. On the Sapphire Reserve, you're going to earn 8x back on all purchases made inside of the Chase Travel Portal, including the Edit Hotel Collection, 4x back on flights booked directly with the airline, 4x back on hotels booked directly with the hotel, 3x back on dining, then 1x back on everything else. And on the Sapphire Preferred, we're going to earn 5x back on all purchases made inside of the travel portal, 3x back on dining, 3x back on online grocery purchases, excluding Target, Walmart, and Whole Food Clubs, 2x back on all other travel purchases, then 1x back on everything else. The only thing missing here is a grocery store credit. In fact, if these cards offered an in-store grocery multiplier, they might be one of the best options for a one-card setup. Now, it is possible to back these cards up with other Chase credit cards like the Freedom Unlimited and the Freedom Flex. This will become the Chase Trifecta, which is a points earning machine. Let's move on and talk about the annual credits offered on these cards. The annual credits give us a way to help offset the cost of the annual fee. Now, the catch here is that we need to be able to utilize the credits for things that we are already spending money on. For instance, the Sapphire Reserve offers a hotel credit each year. If you don't stay in hotels, then you can't really count that credit against your annual fee, as it's not taking the place of any additional spending. So first up, let's take a look at the Sapphire Reserve. We are going to receive a $300 travel credit for pretty much anything that can be considered travel, such as plane tickets, hotels, rental cars, cruises, campsites, and the list goes on. Next, we're going to receive a $500 Edit Hotel Collection credit in the form of $250 twice per year. You do need to book a 2-night minimum stay, which in my opinion is a bummer. The reason I don't like the 2-night minimum stay is because $250 is not going to cover 2 nights of a hotel, meaning you can't use this credit for an entire trip and not have to pay anything. This is in contrast to the Platinum card, which allows you to book just 1 night using the credit. The Edit Collection also offers its own benefits, including room upgrades, early check-in and late checkout when available, a property credit, and more. Next, you'll receive a $300 dining credit for purchases made through Sapphire Reserve exclusive tables, a $250 Apple TV and Apple Music subscription credit, a $120 DoorDash credit, $300 in DoorDash promos, a $300 StubHub credit, a $120 in Lyft credits plus 5x back on those purchases, and a $120 Peloton credit plus 10x back on those purchases. Now, one interesting note is that many of these credits have expiration dates. It will be interesting to see in the coming years if Chase re-ups these credits or replaces them. Now, on the Sapphire Preferred, we are going to receive a $50 hotel credit for hotels booked through the Chase Travel Portal, a $120 DoorDash membership credit, and $120 in DoorDash promos. Obviously, this is a lot less than the Reserve card, but the Preferred card is a fraction of the cost, so it makes sense. This does carry over into the benefits. We are going to see that the Reserve card offers a ton more benefits over the Preferred card. Let's take a look at those now. On the Reserve card, we are going to receive IHG1 Rewards Platinum Elite status for IHG1 hotels. This status comes with its own benefits, which can be a great addition to any IHG hotel stay. We are also going to receive a Global Entry, TSA PreCheck, or Nexus credit, access to Reserve travel designers to help you design a travel itinerary, access to the previously mentioned Edit Hotel Collection and all of the benefits that comes with. Then we are also going to receive some of the best travel insurance and protections on any credit card. These include auto rental coverage, trip cancellation and interruption insurance, trip delay reimbursement, travel accident insurance, travel and emergency assistance, lost luggage reimbursement, baggage delay insurance, emergency evacuation and transportation, roadside assistance, and emergency medical and dental. Some of these you won't find on any other credit card out there. I'm curious, have any of you guys actually used credit card insurance? If you have, let me know how it went. The Reserve card also offers a few additional benefits that unlock once you spend $75,000 on the card in a calendar year. Those benefits include IHG1 Rewards Diamond Elite status, a $250 credit for shops at Chase, a $500 Southwest Airlines credit for flights booked through Chase Travel, and Southwest A-List status. And the final benefit that's offered on the Sapphire Reserve card is lounge access. The Reserve card is going to offer unlimited access to the Chase Sapphire Lounge, and you can bring 2 guests with you into the lounge for free each visit. These lounges are incredibly nice and compete very closely, if not better than, the American Express Centurion lounges. You'll also have access to select Air Canada Maple Leaf lounges and Air Canada cafes in the US, Canada, and Europe with an eligible boarding pass, as well as access to Priority Pass lounges through a Priority Pass Select membership. Now, on the Sapphire Preferred, we actually don't really get any benefits, but that's kind of to be expected with a card that costs $95. We do receive a slimmed down version of those travel insurances and protections, which is nice to have. Now, before you start typing in the comments, both of these cards do have a few more benefits, and those are access to the Chase Travel Portal, Points Boost, and the Chase Transfer Partners list. I am separating these benefits out because I think these ones really define the Chase Travel credit cards. The Chase Travel Portal is where we can book flights, hotels, rental cars, and more using Chase Ultimate Reward points. Most of the redemptions are going to be at 1 cent per point, meaning a $100 plane ticket would cost 10,000 points. Now this is where the benefit Points Boost comes in. With Points Boost, certain travel is redeemable up to 2 cents per point on the Sapphire Reserve, and up to 1.5 cents per point on the Sapphire Reserve. Now, this sounds like it would be great, but I actually think this was a really bad change on the cards. Remember towards the beginning of this video when I said that Chase Ultimate Reward points had often been called one of the most powerful point systems? Well, that was due to a past benefit that these cards offered, That benefit allowed you to book travel inside of the Chase travel portal at 1.5 cents per point on any redemption with the Sapphire Reserve, and 1.25 cents per point on the Sapphire Preferred. That was a guaranteed higher redemption rate than any other mainstream credit card. It really set the Chase cards apart from Capital One and American Express. But unfortunately, that has all changed. With Points Boost, we can find some great redemptions on certain things. For instance, these flights from Chicago to Denver offer Points Boost options, but only for first, business, or economy plus tickets. And they are only for United flights. Kind of a problem for me as I'm a huge Delta fan. If we look at international flights from New York to London, we are only going to be able to find Points Boost options for premium economy seats or higher. And again, we only have a limited selection of airlines we can choose from. When we look at hotels, we're going to find a pretty similar story. Only higher-end hotels are going to offer these Points Boost options. Again, this was in contrast to the old system where we could redeem points inside of the portal at that elevated rate on anything. I do wish Chase had saved aspects of this old system. It was one of the real reasons that drew me to the Sapphire Preferred, and actually I was really considering getting the Sapphire Reserve. However, not anymore. Now, the last benefit that these cards have access to is the Chase Transfer Partners list. These partners offer us a way to use our ultimate reward points outside of the Chase travel portal. Chase has a strong list of partners including United, Southwest, Hyatt, and more. Using transfer partners generally allows us to find the best redemptions out there, and from time to time they will even run transfer bonuses, which give us even more points when we transfer our points out. So where does that leave the original question? Which card is better for you? Well, I think it's going to depend on a couple factors. The first one being, which annual fee works better for you? $95 or $795? If you're just looking to have access to Chase Ultimate Reward Points and the Chase Transfer Partners, then the Sapphire Preferred is obviously the better choice. $95 is not a bad price to pay to have those benefits. I've had the Sapphire Preferred for a few years now, and I generally only take advantage of the Transfer Partners, and I used to take advantage of the elevated cent per point ratio inside of the portal. I do also have the Chase Freedom Flex, which offers rotating 5% categories that allow me to earn even more points. I can transfer those points over to the Sapphire Reserve and then utilize its ability to book travel. But if you're looking for a card that can offer more than just a way to book travel, then the Sapphire Reserve would be it. If you like lounge access, hotel status, earning value through credits, then that would be a great choice. But if we look at these cards from an actual product-to-product comparison, I actually think the Sapphire Preferred is a better option. Here's why. The Sapphire Preferred offers the essentials, access to the travel portal, and access to the Chase Transfer Partners, all while keeping a low $95 annual fee. And honestly, I think that is a better option than what the Sapphire Reserve offers for $795, which is a lot of money, and I just don't think the annual fees are powerful enough to justify that cost. But it could work for the right card. For instance, American Express just revamped the Platinum card and gave it an $895 annual fee. I reviewed that card a few weeks ago, and you can go check that video out right up here. And in that video, I talked about how paying that $895 annual fee would be worth it, but I just don't think it's worth it on the Sapphire Reserve. The credits just don't add up to enough value for me. But that's just my take on it. However, if Chase brings back the points bonus benefit, giving us that elevated redemption rate in the portal, then I might change my mind. I want to hear from you. What do you think of these cards? Do you have either of these cards, and how do you make it work? As a side note, if you're thinking about getting either of these cards and would like to support the channel, I have my referral link down below. It's a great way to support the channel, and it's at no cost to you. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to see more videos like this one in the future. I'll see you next time.